Good afternoon from the Politics Show here in the West Country. Another year of local politics looms, but never fear, there are lots of events to cheer us up too. With the royal wedding, it could be a year of street parties, but not if some killjoy councils have their way. And a bit of political class. Our guest today is the veteran journalist Eleanor Goodman, who left Westminster for the West Country. Hello, it might be gloomy outside, but cheer up, there are plenty of exciting things to look forward to in 2011. All right, it's hard to think of many offhand, but there is that royal wedding this April, and maybe you'll want to hold a street party. It should be as straightforward as organising a booze-up in a brewery, but not a bit of it. There's more red tape than party bunting, with some councils charging huge sums to close the roads. Even the Prime Minister is fed up with it.
Please may I ask the Prime Minister to encourage local councils to look favourably and flexibly upon community groups who wish to have roads closed to hold street parties to celebrate the forthcoming royal wedding.
I will certainly do that. I know that outside some of the large trade unions that fund the party opposite, everyone else wants to have a real celebration for the Olympics, for the Diamond Jubilee, for the royal wedding, and yes, I think we should certainly make it easier for people to close streets and have street parties.
Well, my guest today is the political journalist Eleanor Goodman. Is there going to be a knees up in your part of the world down in Wiltshire?
I suspect there is. In fact, my village is a small one outside Markwell, Wilton. They actually closed the road just to turn on the lights which illuminated the village at Christmas. So I can't believe that they won't be able to close the road for the royal wedding. Though I do think in general people may be a little bit more sceptical about this royal wedding than the last one. I just wonder if it's going to be quite the knees up that David Cameron would obviously like it be.
But your village is obviously the place to head for.
Absolutely.
Now you know. More from Eleanor later. But first, Robin Markwell has been finding out which councils are good at street parties and which ones are the killjoys.
It's a peculiarly British tradition, the whole street coming together to celebrate a royal occasion. But for those wanting to celebrate the marriage of William to Kate, they might not find it as easy as when Charles and Di tied the knot. Some councils are now charging over £1,000 for the privilege of holding a street party. Here in Bristol, it's free, so we thought we'd hold our own to celebrate. We've enlisted the help of a man who's been to more street parties than anyone in the country. Chris Gittins gives advice on how to organise a community knees-up. He's lobbied the government for 3 years, trying to get the charges residents face removed. What a spread, Chris. It's been worth the effort. I think, would you like some cheese and pineapple on sticks?
Well, actually, I'm going to save myself for the barbecue, because that's the main thing.
Right, well, our party is ready for the guests. But what difference does a charge from a council make to a street party?
Well, most people just won't go ahead. But the problem is, if you charge, there aren't any. If you don't charge, there will be. So for councils, it's a curious double bind, really. You've either, as a council, got to decide whether you're going to support these or not, and if you charge even the smallest amount of money, there just won't be any happening.
And you think it made a difference in the Golden Jubilee in 2002, having this red tape in place?
Well, you ask any people over a certain age in this country about street parties, and they will tell you, and they will remember. Some people, when they were kids, they remember it as one of their most important memories. We've heard lots of stories all around the country. It's a really part of British culture, this. It's a tradition, and the royal wedding is the time to do it.
So what would he change? Cash-strapped councils are serving up 3 types of fees. First, the admin, as some authorities charge for the paperwork to close the road. Other councils follow government advice and advertise each road closure in the local paper. That's the red tape campaigners want removed. And what some say really takes the biscuit is that half of our councils insist residents take out insurance too. In South Gloucestershire, it all tots up to £118. In Bath, it's £150, but they'll both waive the fees on the day of the wedding. Next to our impromptu feast is the man who's ensured Bristol residents can party for free. Why don't you toe the government line, like other councils, and say, yes, why not have insurance? We live in litigious times, and why not advertise in newspapers? People need to know the road's closed.
Well, I don't think there is a government line. I mean, that's the
half the councillors in the country don't charge, and the other half do, and it's a complete postcode lottery as to who charges and who doesn't. So, and in all the years in Bristol, I've not known of any problem with litigation. It's the responsibility of the residents.
And Hampton know, John, you're not a committed royalist. You don't care too much for the royal family.
No, I even.
So presumably you won't be getting the bunting out.
I know any excuse for a party, as far as I'm concerned.
If it's free to party in Bristol, it would have cost you £400 here. This is leafy West Berkshire, home of the royal bride-to-be.
Catherine and the Middleton family live up at Chapel Row, which is behind us over there.
But after the politics show got in touch, the council has decided to scrap its fees for good.
We are where we are. We're governed by national law, aren't we? So the bottom line is we cannot change everything with a change of government immediately. So perhaps this is the catalyst that is needed to ensure that this is changed for the better for the future.
And as chair of West Berks Council, will you be getting out the bunting?
Very much so. I will hope to participate in any local events and look forward to it very much.
This is a village that likes to celebrate its royalty. These oaks were planted to honour Elizabeth I. There are just 4 months now until the next big royal day. But the coalition government is coming under increasing pressure to cut out the red tape and allow people up and down the country to have their street parties and celebration for free. So what do ministers have to say? The government has now promised to review its guidance on closing roads and to encourage councils to remove unnecessary fees. But campaigners want any changes made permanent so that scenes like these aren't just limited to royal occasions.
Robin Markwell reporting there. Gloucestershire County Council have just contacted us to say that they're waiving the price of closing roads as well. Councillor Stan Waddington said, I remember VE Day when the whole street was out celebrating. It was wonderful. You're showing your age a bit there, Stan, but well done for that. Well, Eleanor Goodman spent 30-odd years in Westminster reporting for Channel 4. She's now turned her back on national politics. She even used to be a parish councillor in Wiltshire. The government's going to be hoping, aren't they, Eleanor, for some feel-good factor from the royal wedding coming up?
I think so, though you do get the feeling they're trying to have their cake and eat it, in the sense that at the one level they're saying that local councils must economise and they're making it more difficult for them to get more money out of central government. And on the other hand, they obviously don't want them putting a dampener on the festivities by either charging too much or putting in too much red tape. So there's David Cameron, who says, you know, I'm the person who's in charge of localism, who wants everyone to take their decisions locally, but he doesn't, because he wants to take the credit also for giving everybody a thoroughly good time just before the local elections a week later.